Hello, thank you for joining us on the news. I'm Ruth Aguilera. Let's start by bringing you the headlines. As the world marks Cancer Day, Nigeria government and partners make commitment for improved care and prevention. World Health Organization appeals for $1 billion to tackle health crisis in 2026. And Putin hails Moscow's economic, political and security ties with Beijing as a stabilizing factor in turbulent times globally. The leader of the second largest party in South Africa's ruling coalition, the Democratic Alliance, announced this Wednesday he would not seek re-election in a major shake-up ahead of local polls. Framapai reports.
Business DA, credited with boosting confidence in South Africa when it joined the 10-party coalition in 2024, has been rocked by a series of internal controversies over the leadership of John Steenhuisen. Also Agricultural Minister of the Government of National Unity GNU, Steenhuisen said he will not run for a third term at party elections in April so that he could focus on a foot-and-mouth outbreak ravaging local stocks.
I today announced that I will not seek re-election for a third term as the DA federal leader at the party's upcoming federal congress. And I do so with a full heart, knowing that I've accomplished my DA moonshot mission and that my work in government now requires me to similarly pour my heart and soul and all of my energies into defeating foot-and-mouth disease.
South Africa in January rolled out a 10-year drive to vaccinate 20 million cattle against the disease in an outbreak Steenhuisen described as the worst ever. First elected in 2019, he has come under scrutiny in recent months over his handling of the outbreak, the firing of Environment Minister in November, and various internal party complaints. Steenhuisen's exclusion from the leadership race is seen as a bid by the party to remove perceptions that he's in disarray ahead of local government elections later this year. Claiming to be polling at historically high levels, the DA is seeking to win over voters' disillusion with poor performance of the African National Congress ANC. The DA runs the Western Cape Province and its capital city, Cape Town, seen as among the better managed municipalities in the country. Frama Panyi, NTA News.
Russian leader Vladimir Putin has hailed Moscow's economic, political and security ties with Beijing as a stabilizing factor in turbulent times globally. Again, from Mapai, who will tell us more.
Moscow and Beijing have sought to present a united front against the West, with ties deepening since Russia's 2022 Ukraine offensive. The call comes days after top officials from both countries agreed ties could break new ground this year as Moscow and Beijing ramp up economic cooperation. Amid growing turbulence, the foreign policy alliance between Moscow and Beijing remains an important stabilizing factor, Putin told Xi in a video broadcast. Putin praised trade ties with Moscow redirecting its exports to Asia after Western countries imposed massive sanctions on Russia over the Kremlin's Ukraine offensive. China has never denounced Russia's war nor called for it to withdraw troops, and many of Ukraine's allies believe that Beijing has provided support to Moscow. The video call took place as Russian, Ukrainian and US negotiators met in Abu Dhabi for another round of talks on ending the almost 4-year-old war. But Putin made no mention of Ukraine during his call with Xi. The two leaders last met in person in September when the Russian leader attended Beijing's massive military parade. Xi also visited Moscow last year in May for Russia's celebration of the World War II defeat of the Nazis. Last weekend, China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi met with Russia's security chief Sergei Shoigu in Beijing. Wang told Shoigu that China and Russia must work together to uphold multilateralism in a time of turmoil and advocate an equal and orderly multipolar world. Frama Panyi, NTA News.
In other news, the World Health Organization has appealed for $1 billion to tackle health crises in 2026 across the world's 36 most severe emergencies, including Gaza, Sudan, Haiti and Afghanistan. Chukunonso Wambueze reports.
Hit by deep cuts in foreign aid from wealthy countries, the World Health Organization (WHO) made its emergency request significantly lower than in recent years, saying it had to be realistic about how much money would arrive. The WHO estimated that 239 million people would need urgent humanitarian assistance this year and said the money would keep essential health services afloat.
WHO is appealing for $1 billion.
Executive Director of WHO's Health Emergencies Program, Dr. Chikwe Ihekwazu, told reporters in Geneva that the body is deeply worried about the vast needs and how to meet them.
This money will support the health response in 36 emergencies, including Gaza, the Middle East, Sudan, Ukraine, and the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Haiti, and Myanmar. Families living on the edge face impossible decisions, such as whether to buy food or to buy medicine.
In 2025, the WHO appealed for $1.5 billion, but Ihekwazu said only $900 million came through, far below 2016 levels. But this year, the agency, he said, is hyper-prioritizing high-impact services, focusing on where most lives can be saved.
250 million people are living through humanitarian crisis that strip away the basic protections, safety, shelter, and access to healthcare. In these settings, health needs are surging, whether due to injuries, disease outbreaks, malnutrition, untreated chronic diseases. Yes, access to care is shrinking.
Last year, the WHO responded to 50 health emergencies in 82 countries, reaching more than 30 million people with essential services. However, global funding cuts forced 6,700 health facilities across 22 humanitarian settings to either close or reduce services, cutting 53 million people off from healthcare, WHO stated. Chukunonso Wambueze, NTA News.
Every 4th of February, the world pauses to confront a disease that has touched almost every family in some way. I'm talking about cancer. It is World Cancer Day, and it's more than just a date on the calendar. It is a global moment for awareness, prevention, and solidarity with millions currently living with the disease. Basi Taipang reports that in Nigeria, it was an opportunity for recommitment by government and partners for improved cancer care and prevention.
Beyond medical charts and hospital words, cancer carries deep social, emotional, and economic consequences for patients and their loved ones.
Glad to inform you that the Renew Hope agenda of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu provides unique opportunities for cancer prevention and care in Nigeria. The Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration has prioritized health sector, and particularly cancer care, by making huge investment within the short time in office, more than any other administration in this country.
This year's theme, United by Unique, captures that shared human experience. Different journeys, one collective resolve.
Each patient has his own story to tell, a unique story to tell regarding this cancer. Each cancer in a particular patient is unique. So, and by that, we should always put the patient or the person first before the disease.
Regular screening and routine medical checkups are equally vital, as early detection not only saves lives, but also makes treatments more effective.
With robust policy, cancer plan, Nigeria perhaps one of the very few countries in Africa that have up-to-date cancer control plan. So that is a plus for the country. However, in the issue of data, we have some challenges there, because data, drives science. And without accurate cancer data, there's nothing we are planning. So cancer registration is in the country, yes, but are they funded? That's the question.
You know where we started, as a country in Nigeria, and if you look actually at where we are today, what we can categorically say that we have improved remarkably. We are not there yet, but the journey is ongoing, because of actually the developments that this government has brought into the cancer space currently in the country. The government of His Excellency President Ahmed Bola Tinubu has infused a lot of funds into the cancer care generally in the country.
The key message experts say is the power of prevention, early detection, simple lifestyle choices, avoiding tobacco, limiting alcohol intake, eating balanced diet that is full of vegetables and fruits, and above all, keeping physically active. Basi Taikbang, NTA News.
In the meantime, the National Institute for Cancer Research and Treatment has launched a nationwide free cancer screening initiative targeting cervical, breast and prostate cancer. The program, launched at the Federal Medical Center Jabi in Abuja, aims to promote early detection and improve access to quality care using hospital-based screening services and community-driven awareness campaigns.
Screen across 8 facilities, 300 to 500 women with cervical cancer screening and 100 to 200 men for prostate cancer, as well as breast cancer, equally 500 women for breast cancer. And among these 500, we target at least 60 to 75% of them should have gold standard mammography, because we already have the mammography machine.
Is that number one is the creating of the awareness is very important, because most of us don't even know.
I've been screened for prostate cancer, but at the moment the result is not out. But when the result is out, I'll be communicated to.
The initiative aligns with the World Health Organization's 2030 target to eliminate cervical cancer, with plans to screen 8 million women annually. Pilot programs have already shown promise, with trained health workers and intensified community engagement paving the way for a nationwide rollout. However, Nigerians are advised to seize this opportunity, as early detection, they say, is the most effective weapon against cancer. Nigeria's long walk towards accessible cancer care is taking a decisive step forward as the International Finance Corporation and the Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority sealed a partnership designed to bring advanced diagnostics and life-saving oncology services closer to communities that have long been priced out or left behind. Musa Abubakar reports.
For millions of Nigerians, specialized cancer care has often meant long journeys, high costs and painful delays. But a new partnership is set to change that narrative. The International Finance Corporation and Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority have joined forces to expand oncology and diagnostic services across Nigeria, delivering care where it is needed most.
I'm very proud to say that what started off as one oncology center in Lagos and 2 diagnostic centers in Kano and Umuahia, by the end of the second quarter of this year, will become 4 oncology centers and 15 diagnostic centers across the country.
Oncology centers, 3 of them I have been to, the commissioning, and is now expanding and building on. Is that momentum that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is putting in place for the economy broadly.
The program will establish diagnostic centers, radiotherapy-enabled cancer facilities, and cardiac laboratories across several states, equipped with cutting-edge technology to improve early detection and treatment outcomes.
IFC is supporting MedServ to scale diagnostic and treatment capacity across multiple states.
Medical tourism by half has gone down, but also others are really coming for medical tourism in Nigeria. Despite all what you may hear on the quality side, things are actually getting better.
Valued at $154 million, the project marks IFC's first healthcare investment in Nigeria. Beyond buildings and machines, the investment is creating impact. More than a dozen modern centers, 800 direct jobs, and specialized training for over 500 healthcare professionals. In Abuja, Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
The federal government has approved the digitization of Nigeria's fish import licensing process in a landmark policy move aimed at enhancing transparency, efficiency and regulatory oversight within the nation's fisheries sector. The Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adeboyega Oyetola, in a statement by his special advisor, Bolaji Akinola, directed the Department of Fisheries and Aquaculture to expedite action towards the swift implementation of the digital platform, signaling federal government's renewed commitment to modernizing marine administration while strengthening domestic fish production capacity. Oyetola emphasizes that the approval represents a significant step in the ongoing reform agenda of the ministry, which seeks to deploy technology-driven solutions to improve governance, reduce bureaucratic bottlenecks, and promote accountability across the fisheries value chain. When completed, the digitization initiative will provide real-time data monitoring capabilities, enabling the ministry to accurately track import volumes, evaluate supply gaps, and implement evidence-based policy decisions. The digital system is also expected to strengthen regulatory compliance by ensuring that only qualified and duly registered importers receive licenses, thereby curbing illegal and unregulated importation activities that have historically undermined local aquaculture investments. So let's take a break. We'll be back. Stay tuned.
Pleased to announce encouraging news from the National Bureau of Statistics, which released the Consumer Price Index, the CPI, for April 2025 only yesterday. According to the report, the headline inflation rate for April stood at 23.71%, This represents a decrease of 0.52% from the 24.23% recorded in March 2025.
Thank you for staying with us. The Senate is at the moment conducting clause-by-clause consideration of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2026. Senate is also proposing that INEC issues notice of election 180 days to the election day as against the 360 days provided in the current Act. Submission of candidates by political parties to INEC was reduced from 180 to not later than 90 days to election day. Senate also voted against the proposed 10-year ban from contesting election on anyone found involved in election malpractice. It instead opted for an increase of the monetary sanction from 500,000 to 5 million naira. Both manual and electronic means was adopted for transmission of election results. And the House of Representatives has commenced investigation into the concession of all federal air and seaport terminals, as well as other related shipping activities carried out between 2006 and 2025. National Assembly correspondent Mitaira Ikpen reports that an ad hoc committee for the probe has invited relevant agencies and concessionaires to give account of the operations.
The federal government's decision to concession key national assets, including airports and seaports, was to modernize infrastructure and improve service delivery as well as revenue generation. Nearly 2 decades after the commencement of the concession arrangements, the House of Representatives says a comprehensive review of their outcomes is necessary, following complaints of operational challenges and systemic gaps within the concession framework. Kolawole Akinlayo, who chairs the ad hoc committee, hints that the investigation will focus on compliance with applicable laws and revenue performance, among other critical areas.
We will also hear from the users of the system, labor unions, freight forwarders, airline, shipping operators on operational realities and service outcomes. Independent experts, auditors will be invited to provide objective assessment of the economic and governance impact.
We envision pubs that are efficient, corruption-free, digitally driven, investor-friendly, and capable of supporting Nigeria's ambition as West Africa's logistic and maritime hub.
Nigerians deserve to know whether these concessions have enhanced national competitiveness, protected public assets, and contributed meaningfully to the economic growth, employment, and revenue generation.
Agencies expected to appear before the House for the investigation include the Nigerian Ports Authority, concessionaires, Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, Nigeria Customs Service, the Bureau of Public Procurement, and the Nigeria Shippers Council. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
The court this Wednesday rejected documents tendered by the council to Omoyele Sowore in the ongoing case of cyberbullying and cyber stalking instituted against him by the DSS. Judiciary correspondent Austin Ayembe reports.
During cross-examination of the first prosecution witness, the defense counsel Abubakar Marshal tendered some documents to show that corruption allegedly exists in Nigeria, even within the DSS and EFCC. He went further to tender publications where some prominent Nigerians in more than a decade ago accused the then government of corruption. But the prosecution counsel, Akinlolu Kehinde, senior advocate of Nigeria, vehemently opposed the process, saying the witness is not a maker of the documents and not in compliance with Section 84 of the Evidence Act. More so that the documents have no relevance to the case before the court. The presiding judge, Justice Mohammed Umar, therefore ruled in favor of the prosecution, saying the defense counsel needs to follow the proper channel. Several other questions were asked by the defense counsel on similar comments by some Nigerians on social media, which the witness said that he was not aware of. To this end, the trial judge told the defense counsel to end the cross-examination, but he sought for another day to conclude, which was granted by the court as Justice Mohammed Umar adjourned to 5th March 2026 for conclusion of cross-examination. From the Federal High Court, Abuja, Austin Anyebe, NTA News.
Nigeria's drive to strengthen indigenous manufacturing of military hardware and cut dependence on foreign supply has received a boost as X-Shield Solutions Limited, a leading defense and security company, unveils locally produced tactical armed platform in Abuja. The development reflects the impact of President Bola Tinubu's signing of an Act 2023, which positioned Nigeria as an already producer of military and security hardware.
The demand for tactical armored mobility, a tactical asset for modern land power operations and troop survivability, is rising across Nigeria's defense and security agencies. With growing security responsibilities, the need for protected mobility platforms has become more urgent, placing pressure on government resources and foreign supply chains.
Today is not just a milestone for us, but it is also a clear statement of intent. X-Shield is here to build, we are here to scale, and to lead in armored mobility platforms.
This partnership delivers multiple dividends. It strengthens Nigeria's defense industrial base, it creates skilled jobs, and importantly, it opens pathways for export and regional leadership in defense manufacturing.
The unveiling of the X-Shield Indigenous Light Tactical Armored Vehicle and Armored Toyota Bus is now being presented as a turning point, signaling that Nigeria is gradually shifting from heavy import dependence to local production of world-class defense platforms that meet operational and global standards.
And as we have shown today, that we are having the capacity to build not just civilian armored vehicles, but tactical armored vehicles for the military. We believe that once we scale up that capacity, we'll be able to meet the local demand, and so the rate of foreign exchange that goes out for importation of those equipments will be reduced. Sometimes when you import vehicles, it will take you like 3 months, 4 months to bring it here. This guy said that within 27 days, he produced a light tactical vehicle that you're seeing over there, which means that if he works very, very hard and get more hands, if government supports him, it means that within a month, this man can chalk out 10 units of this. And you can imagine what it means. Cost. The cost will come down.
Key players say sustaining political will, policy support and financial backing will be crucial to ensuring long-term growth and self-reliance in Nigeria's tactical armored mobility sector. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, says institutional support are key in the reforms journey of the government. Satisfied with the testimonies from friends of Nigeria across the world on the reforms of the federal government under President Bola Tinubu, the Minister of Information and National Orientation urged institutions of government to boost their operations as key drivers of renewed hope agenda. Let's hear from Abdullahi Salihu Gwanara.
Inflation generally is down. Our GDP is rising. Naira is stabilizing. Confidence in investors is returning. All this are clear indication that the journey that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has embarked upon together with all Nigerians to ensure prosperity for this country is indeed in the right direction.
These successes are the results of early government decision, which he wants to be sustained through more selfless services, as been demonstrated by the Corporate Affairs Commission.
The engagement of small-scale businesses like the POS operators, not just for purposes of getting taxes from them, but also for regulating them and for ensuring that you cannot use these financial outlets, to commit and perpetrate crime from around the country. It is really heartwarming to note that the CAC has ensured that these people are now being captured for their own good, not just because we want to catch criminals, but because we want to ensure that we have an organized economic system for our people. Your role in financial inclusivity by these steps that you have taken is highly noted.
Ongoing innovation in the CAC, particularly beneficial ownership register, is boosting investors' confidence.
The people behind any company must be disclosed. This is what is giving the investors confidence on the Nigerian registry. In fact, we have become a reference point on this.
As the Commission turns 35 years, there were assurances of improved service delivery in the interest of Nigeria. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
And we're done. Thank you for your time. I'm Ruth Aguwele. My sign language interpreter is Bamidele Jan.